I'm not wasting your time. Are we live? Oh, yeah, one second. Just... All right, this is the I.S.U.P.K Wednesday law class. Also, remember, check out Commanding General YAHANNA's radio show, which is Monday, 2 a.m. UK time. Also, there's classes in the States, Monday through Friday. You can find them by subscribing to all the UPK channels and turn on the notifications, and then when they go live, it will let you know. Also, there's tons of them. Also, follow all the UPK pages on Facebook. Look at all the cities, the schools. Also, there's classes here in the UK. Monday, we have the history class. Tuesday, the brotherhood class. Wednesday, the law class. Thursday, the scripture breakdown class. And then Friday, we have the radio show, which is on the ends. And then Saturday, we have the Sabbath service, which is a Saturday, 12 a.m. And also, you can call the school and whatnot. Any problems or whatnot, you can call the school. Anything to do with food and whatnot, you can phone the school, because there's Officer Croft is doing an excellent job with the food drive. So you can call the school for all of those things as well. Also, you can come on down to the school, which is what? Lodge Road. The postcode is B18 5PW. So 394 Lodge Road, B18 5PW. You can come on down with your questions. You can get all your questions about the Bible answered. Questions about whatever you want, or you can log into scripture breakdown class and you can get those questions answered. But today we're going to go into the law on borrowing and the law on greed and whatnot, because there's a big misconception that you must borrow money to everybody that asks, and you ain't got the right to say, no, I need this money, or you ain't got the right to not give up your money. People, we've seen the Bible, it says, give to the poor, and think that means you give to the man that makes the same amount of money as you, but squandered his money. It doesn't mean that. Like a poor man is what? A man that lacks the basic necessities to live, man. Not a man that's £30 short and wants a bottle of vodka. Not a man that wants, to go to the movies and go to the cinema and whatnot. Those things, if you can't do them things, you're not really poor. You just ain't got the money for the necessities right now. Now, being poor is what? Where you don't know where your next meal's coming from, man. Where you've had that shirt on your back for days and you've got nowhere to stay and all of those kind of things. That's right. That's the difference. Like most of us now think that man, that homeless man you see outside is poor, and really he's on drugs and that's where all his money goes, man. He's on drugs and that's where all his money goes. And that's why they come to you with the cup and they say to you, I need it for a cup of coffee. And then you will say to them, don't worry, I'll buy you the coffee. And what do they say to you? They say, no, just give me the money. They say, no, it's fine. Because really, they don't want coffee, man. They're not hungry. They just want your money to buy drugs, man. And they go out there all day and make that money to get them drugs, man. They be outside no matter the weather. Whether it's scorching hot, they be out there. Whether it's ice cold, they be out there. Like now, there's some Edomite ones up there, out there nearby town. What they do is, one of them was standing there. One of them was standing there first with a cup. He was standing there first with a cup, And every time the traffic stops, he walks up to all the cars, and then he puts his car by his cup by your window, and people give him pounds on top of pounds. And then when them set of cars go, he pours them pounds out of the cup into his pocket, and then does it again when the next car stop at the lights. And then now he was making so much money off it. He's got a friend that he told his friend to stand at the next lights. Have you seen it? Say like you're going that way, then and they're coming that way. So both of them are doing it now. So they're trying to get your money from all angles, man. But today we're gonna go into it. Any of the truth is coming. All right, so we're gonna start from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 15 and verse 7. So there's laws on how you meant to treat the poor of your people. And that's what we need to take in, the poor of your people. Like, ain't talking about everybody. Now, the poor Arab man that you see, it's not our problem. Chinese, it's not our problem. But the poor of our people, which is brotherhood, you put in your people first, man. That we need to put our people first for a change. Instead, we don't put our people first. But we would rather give money to everybody else, take care of everybody else's poor and whatnot.
I got you. The book of Deuteronomy 15 and a 7. If there be among you a poor man, or one of thy brethren within any of thy gates in thy land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee.
No, this is at a time when the Lord gave us lands, and he gave us parts of the land. Each tribe had a part of the land. And if there was a poor brother in the land, why? Because there's always going to be poor people in the land. There's always going to be people less fortunate than others. So if there's someone someone amongst you which is less fortunate, who is your brother? Because it said brother there. Go ahead.
Thou shalt not harden thine heart, nor
and you ain't supposed to be hard on him and be like, I ain't giving this nigga nothing. Every day he's out here, I ain't giving him my money. You ain't supposed to harden your mind towards him. Like, you ain't supposed to have a hard head towards him. Like, I ain't gonna give him no money. This ain't my problem. The thing is, the poor is our problem.
That's right.
And that's brotherhood when we understand that we're one nation. Why? Because we could have the money right now, but guess what? Things can happen where you end up in that poor brother's position. And then when you're in that position, you're going to be out there doing the same thing, asking, have you got any spare shirts? Have you got any this? Have you got any that? And you would want a brother to show mercy towards you and be all right with you and not harden his heart towards you and be like, I ain't giving you nothing. Like, you wouldn't want a brother to pull out his camera phone on you and be like, look at this bum there. Like being poor doesn't make you a bum. That's what people think. People think today that if you're poor, you're a bum and you're this and you're that. That don't make you a bum, man. Besides, there's hardly any jobs outside there. What really makes you a bum is you not serving the Lord, man. That's what really makes you a bum.
That's right.
But a man being poor, if he serves the Lord, man, he's a righteous man. Understand this, that all that money that the rich man's got, guess what? If he ain't serving the Lord, he ain't gonna get to enjoy all that money, man. The time's gonna come when he's gonna have to answer to the Lord, and that money can't save him. Whereas when this poor man does go before the Lord's gonna be like, you know what, you're a righteous man. You wasn't the truth. You done this. You done that. You didn't kill no one for their money. You didn't steal. You didn't sell drugs to get the money like these other people do. Like, what happens is people who have got money today, some get it illegally, and then they stunt on the brothers that don't commit no criminal activities. And then what will happen is you'll be like, you know what? I want to be rich like them. I want to be able to buy Birkin bags for my woman and so forth. And then before you know it, by you trying to please your woman getting her a Birkin bag, you're breaking every law there is, man. Where you should just be like, you know what? I can't afford a Birkin bag, but I love you, and you know, me and you are gonna be together forever. Because guess what? Most of these rappers buying these women Birkin bags, they end up splitting up after a year anyway, man. So they ain't really in love like you would think. You see all these memes on the grandma, if he doesn't buy you this, if he doesn't buy you that, if he can't afford the date. There's tons of memes like that. So that makes people think they need to go out there and do something crazy. Because imagine if you see, No man that can't afford to take me on a 5-star date is even getting a date. Men see those things and think, you know what? I need to level up, man. I need to get a better car, and I need to be able to afford a better restaurant. When really, man, someone like that, you just stay away from them, man. Someone that says, you know what, no man that can't afford to take me here. All right, then you just fall back, man, and let someone else take them there. Straight away, that's a woman that you don't need, man. Because in you trying to get rich to get that woman, guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna end up going poor, man. Because why? All that money you're getting is going to be spent on silly things that you don't even need. But go ahead. Like, it's going to be spent on silly things like handbags that you don't really need. It's going to be spent on silly things like a 5-star hotel at the top of the Shard in London that you don't really need. And then you're breaking your back doing all of that just to end up back poor, man. Whereas, based off some people's conversation, it should be enough for you to say, you know what, I think I'm going to pass. Like, honestly, if I hear a woman saying, oh, if this man don't worship the ground I walk on, or if this man don't take me to this blah 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 blah, or pay for my nails and pay for all of this, if I hear her speaking like that, straight away for me, that's going to be shalom. I'll pass. I'll pass. You know why? Because that kind of woman is just going to bring you up headache, heartache. You're going to be running around trying to sell all the drugs in the world. Why? Because she wants pleasing, man. You're not even doing it for yourself. You're doing it, why? Because she wants pleasing. Go ahead.
Nor shut thine hand from thy poor brother.
Or don't shut your hand to your poor brother. So you see a poor black man, he asks for a coffee. You buying him a coffee ain't gonna hurt you, man. You buy that brother a coffee, man. He asks for a coffee. Now, if you know he's a drug addict and he's asking for money, then obviously you don't give him. You have to be circumspect. You have to assess the situation first. Like, before you hand over your money, you have to assess the situation, man. Because if you just hand over your money to anybody, I need to know where you are so I can just ask and you hand over your money to me if that's the case. But assess the situation first and see, am I giving this brother money because he needs it, or does this brother want to buy drugs? Does this brother want to do this? Does this brother want to do that? So you assess the situation first. But at this time, this brother wouldn't be on drugs. This brother wouldn't be on drugs or not, whatnot. He's just a brother that's less fortunate. Probably his father never had no inheritance to leave to him or whatnot. Because you know how us black people grow up. Like our living condition, how all of us are living right now is below average. Like, you look at our oppressor, he's able to do what? Buy houses for all his children, leave money for all his children. And then with us, our parents or grandparents leave one house, and then what happens? We all fight over it, man. We all fight over that one house. And then one man wants to live in there. So someone else wants to sell the house. Someone else wants to rent out the house. And then we can't come to agreements. So what happens? This house that our parents left to us, we fight over it. And then what happens? We end up falling out as a family and we no longer speak to each other, man. If money is going to make us fall out, I'd rather us not have money, man. I'd rather us not have the house if that's going to make us fall out. And everybody's seen it with every black family, man. Your parents or grandparents die, and then people start coming saying, I'm having this, I'm having this, I'm having that. Someone takes the car, the laptop, the fridge, the settees, the tool set. I mean, at least allow the person to get buried first. Allow the person to get buried first, man, before you all start fighting over all of these things. And the reason we fight over all these things, why? Is because we poor. That's why we fight over these things, man. We're poor and we're not used to having stuff. Whereas what Esau does is everything in the house, he just gives it to charity, man. We ain't got that kind of money to be doing them things. Because we poor, man. Like this poor brother right here, that's here, we should be able to identify with that. Why? Because we've got family members who couldn't pay the rent on time. We've got family members who had to go take out a loan and then can't pay back the interest and so forth. That's our whole life growing up. And this is why we with us, most of the things that we do buy, it's secondhand. Like, listen, being a black or Hispanic, we don't know nothing about being the first owner of the car, man. Seeing the car come with 0 miles on it, man. We don't know that because we ain't got them kind of funds. Whereas these other nations, they look down on people who buy secondhand cars. Whereas secondhand cars is our life, man, because we can't afford what they can afford. Why? Because they rule over us. We're oppressed, we're poor, and so forth. So when you see another brother, you might have a little bit more money than him, but understand this: on the grand scheme of things, we all poor. If you look at it, like we think we way better than him because his, one outfit or whatnot. Meanwhile, we also poor, but we think we're way better than him when we should look at his situation and be like, you know what? I know what you're going through. I know how you're feeling. I understand you're lacking clothes. I'm gonna see if I can get some clothes for you. Give him some shirts or whatever clothes you don't use. Like instead of you taking them clothes and giving it to, is it British Red Cross to go to? Instead of you giving it to British Red Cross, you should keep these clothes, man, and give them to the poor of your people. You know why? Because what Red Cross do is they sell them clothes, man. You take them there for free, and then they sell them, man. Go look it up. Go to British Red Cross on Saw Road. They have them things and they sell them. So you should keep like the shoes and whatnot that you're not gonna wear. You just find a brother that needs them, man, and say, you know what, I got these. But you don't want to disrespect your brother and give him ripped up stuff that you wouldn't wear. Like you don't want to disrespect him like that. You want to give him something that is presentable. Like you don't want to give him stuff which is full of holes, stuff which is is not wearable, stuff which is washed out and it's just not even wearable. Like you don't want to disrespect him like that. You want to give him stuff which you would wear. Because if you was in that position, you would want someone to give you stuff that you would wear. Like you would want someone to give you a pair of jeans that's presentable, a pair of shoes that's presentable. You wouldn't want them to give you shoes where like the shoes that we had in school. Captain Press, you remember them shoes where it rips at the bottom and you feel the rainwater coming in and your socks is wet for the whole day. That's right. Like that's the kind of shoes that we had growing up, man. And we had to make sure a pair of shoes lasted us at least for the whole year. Like you want to give a brother something which is presentable. You don't want to give him those kind of things. Like things that you was gonna throw in the bin because it's not fit for no one. You don't want to give your brother those kind of things. But read on. Shalom, ya Shabakfa.
Verse 8. But thou shalt open thy hand wide unto him, and shall surely lend sufficient for his need.
So it says, you shall lend sufficient for his need, man. Now, that doesn't mean if this brother wants a Mercedes, you must give him money for a Mercedes. Nah, man, it don't mean that. Now, when a brother's poor, it means he ain't got food, he ain't got clothes, he ain't got no roof over his head. It's not talking about a man that makes a decent amount of money and squanders it in the club, squanders it on alcohol, and then guess what happens at the end of every month? He comes to you, borrow me this. It's not talking about that. Now, in most cases, most people have poor money management, and that's what it comes down to. Like with your wage, if you work with your wage, what you want to do is you want to break it up. So you want to understand, okay, then I make about, what's the average wage? About 1,400 a month. That's right. The average wage, say you make about 1,400 a month. You want to know, all right, then this much is for the bills, and then I've got this much left over after I pay my tithes, my camp funds, or your bills and whatnot. Say you're left with what, £500 left. That means what you're left with £500 left. That means you have to spend £125 a week. You can't go over that, because if you start going over £125 a week, what's going to happen? By the time it comes to week 3, all your money is gone. So you have to monitor your money and be like, all right, then I'm going to spend this much. I'm going to save this much, just so you don't go over. And also with money, what you want to do is you also don't want to live wage to wage. So if you can, try and save a little bit of your money, because what will happen is things with your car will happen. And like, listen, man, this Friday I got to change my car battery. They're saying about 200 and something pound, man, just for a battery. I thought a battery was £50 all this time. I thought it was £50 all this time. So what you want to do is you want to put money aside, especially if you're driving things, because what will happen is if your car breaks down, that means what? You're not going to have no money to fix it. Now, in that case, if you ask someone to borrow money, that's justified. Why? Because you didn't know your car was going to break down. Things like that is justified, but you don't want to be borrowing money off people because you got poor money management. Now, your car breaking down, that's nothing to do with you having poor money management. That's more to do with, obviously, your car's broken down, it's knackered, it needs a service and whatnot. So it's always good to try and every so often put like what, about £50, £100? Yeah, so try put like a £50, £100 here and there aside, just so in case of hard times, and then you need that money or whatnot.
And also in the Bible, like it's letting you know that you help this person because of the situation they're in that they can't help. Right. Now there's some people they blow everything they have, and the rent is on the back of the list, and then like oh, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna pay this rent? Well, if you never brought those Balenciagas, you could have paid the rent. You know what I mean? If you didn't take out that new Mercedes A-Class under finance, that rent could have been paid. Right. And the Bible's letting you know the difference between them, that you're lending sufficient for their need, meaning they don't have it.
Right, exactly. So you don't want to blow your money, like the captain said. You don't want to be blowing your money on things living above your means. Like, say for instance, if you're only making a certain amount, you need to make sure whatever you buy and it breaks down, you've got enough to cover that. Like, you don't want to be spending like you don't want to be getting like 40 grand, 50 grand cars, because what happens with that? The value goes down like after a year. After a year, the value goes down. So you will look at that car after 3 years, and then after 3 years, what it's worth is about what, 8-10 grand if you're lucky. So with those things, you want to get counsel on it, and before you buy anything big, you want to check with your camp leader. Do I need it? Is it worth it? Am I gonna be struggling after I get it and whatnot? So you want to work out the cost of everything. Go ahead.
Sufficient for his need in that which he wanteth. Beware that there be not a thought in thy wicked heart, saying.
Meaning what? Meaning you don't want to harbor wicked thoughts. Now this is going to let you know what you don't want to harbor wicked thoughts about. Go ahead.
Wicked heart, saying a seventh year, the year of release.
So now you don't want to harbor thoughts. You don't want to put thoughts in your mind saying, you know what? Now this brother wants to borrow some money, but if I borrow him it now, the year of release means he doesn't need to pay me back. And that's kind of how black people think. Like, if I borrow him this, the year of release means I don't have to pay him back. So I'm not going to borrow him because I want my money back. So the Lord's saying, don't have that thought in your mind. Go ahead.
The year of release is at hand, and thine eye be evil against thy poor brother.
And bearing in mind, this ain't a brother that's got money. This is a brother that's poor. This is a brother that, probably asking you, can you buy me? Can you buy me some clothes or food or whatever? Can you do these things for me? And then you've got it in your mind. You've got it in your mind, like, I'm not going to do it because the year of release is coming up. Now, there's some times where a brother's so poor, you give him stuff and you don't expect him to pay you back. Sometimes you say to the brother, don't worry, it's all right. Like, sometimes a brother will say, I'll pay you back when I can. And then you'll be like, all right, no sweat, take your time. Like, you don't want to rush a poor brother to give you back anything. Like, you don't want to rush him, like, give me this back. And you just say, don't worry, take your time. Because honestly, the thing that you're probably giving to him, it's not really affecting you anyway. Like if you're a man and you got a bit of money, you borrowing a brother £100, it's not really breaking the bank. It's not really making you bankrupt. So you just be like, all right, no sweat, you pay me back when you get it. You show him brotherhood, man. And in him seeing your brotherhood, he's gonna want to pay you back, man. Because he's gonna be like, you know what? Nobody else would lend me money, but this brother gave me money and he didn't rush me and he didn't treat me like the heathens do. Like what the heathens do is they give you some deadline and they put interest all on it. And if you can't pay, what do? Come send the bailiffs to take half your stuff. There's a program we can't pay, can't pay, we'll take it. There's a devil on there and a brother, and they would come and take your goods. And then one time, what was it? The brother, what did he need? A kidney? Was it that one? He needed a kidney, and every black person was like, "We ain't giving him. He's taking our things away. We ain't giving him." And in the scriptures, that would be like the publicans. Nobody likes people like that. But the way Esau does it is he comes, repossesses your goods. He don't care about your children. Sometimes they even take your bed and so forth. So they take all of those things. Whereas in the law, you can't treat a poor brother like that. Go ahead.
And thou givest him naught, and he cry unto thee, Lord,
and this
against
is
thee.
and this is how this is letting you know that this is a poor man that serves the Lord. Because if it was some scammer, he wouldn't cry to the Lord, man. If it was some man that's trying to hustle you, he wouldn't be able to cry to the Lord, man. Because the Lord would know why you ain't giving him the money. But this is a poor brother that's in your land, serving the Lord and whatnot. And he cries to the Lord. Why? Because, and furthermore, a man who's serving the Lord that asks you, can he borrow money? He really needs it, man. He ain't gonna, because he serves the Lord and fears the Lord, he ain't gonna be trying to scam you or hustle you. The only way he would do that is if he don't really believe in the Lord, man. But a man who believes in the Lord will follow the whole law and understand, you know what? There's laws on me borrowing money, and there's laws on me paying people back their money, and there's laws on this, and there's laws on that. That's how a righteous man would assess the situation. It's not like your family members in the world where they ask you, "Oh, can you borrow me this? Can you borrow me this? I need to pay my rent." And then later that night, you see them on Facebook in the club. See them on Facebook in the club with a bottle of champagne. It's not those kind of people. Now there is those kind of people out there that ask you to borrow money, and you be like, "Well, what for?" "Oh, I want to go out tonight." Listen, man, if you ain't got the money, you stay in your house, man. It's that simple. And you not having the money to go to the club doesn't make you poor. It just means you can't live this luxurious lifestyle that you're trying to live. It's just saying you can't live like Floyd Mayweather because you ain't got the funds to live like Floyd Mayweather. Now, if you want to live like Floyd Mayweather, you better have Floyd Mayweather money. It's wrong for you to be stressing everybody else that they should give you money for stuff that ain't even a necessity, for stuff that you don't really need. So you mean to say you're going to ask me for £500 for shoes, whereas that don't make no sense, man. Now, if you was to be like, you know what, I can't pay the rent this month. I need money for rent. I need money for rent. Bro, be like, all right, no sweat. But if you say, you know what, I need some money, and then we'll be like, all right, then the brothers come together like, all right, then so what do you need the money for? Oh, I want some designer shoes. Everyone is going to walk away and be like, you ain't getting a penny, man. And that's the thing today. Most people think they're poor because they ain't got all the luxuries that it's nice to have. Of course, it's nice to have luxuries, but if you can't afford it, then obviously you just can't have it. Now, if you're putting them luxuries before paying your rent, you're gonna go homeless very soon, man. And you can't blame nobody else. You have to blame yourself. Read on.
And it be sin unto thee, thou shalt surely give him, and thy heart shall not be grieved when thou givest unto him.
And listen, when you give to your brother, man, your heart ain't supposed to be grieved. Like, oh man, I gave this nigga my money. Why did I give him? I hate him. You meant to say, all right, no, sir, there you go. Pay me back when you can. Or if you know the brother's so poor, you be like, don't worry, just keep it. And you know, like you want to do it gladly. Remember, this is only for you brothers. This ain't talking about no other races. Because what will happen is you'll give them all your money and you'll end up with nothing. So the Lord's saying you do that, but the church interprets these scriptures like if you've got £1,000, you must give up that whole £1,000. It doesn't mean that, man. It means if you're in a position to help, man. Now, are you always going to be in a position to help? No, you're not, man. Sometimes you've got your own bills to pay that you're behind on. Sometimes you've got other things that you're behind on. Now, if you're in a position to help, that's when you help, man. But if you're not in a position to help, you can't help. But you can just try and divert them to someone that can help or whatnot. Or if you ain't got the money, you can be like, you know what? I ain't got no money, but I got some food. I got bread and this and that. I got a coat you can have. Like you can help in that way. It's not always money. There's other ways you can help people out. Like say for instance, a brother, might be stranded. You can say, you know what, I can collect you. I can do this. You can help in other ways. It's not always talking about money, but obviously nowadays people think help is only with money. Go ahead.
Okay, because that for the thing the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all thy works.
Now, Christian will show you that and say, yo, you need to give it every homeless drug addict your money and the Lord will bless you. Nah, man, this is about you helping out a poor man, a brother who's actually poor, and you being in a position to help, and you breaking him off probably £10, £15, saying, you know what, go get some shopping for your house, go get some shopping for your kids. What's it like? Who's doing an excellent job of helping the poor right now? What's his name? Marcus Rashford. He's doing an excellent job with it right now, man. Did you see the little package that they gave? And he complained about it, and then now they're going to give it out in vouchers. But listen, I'm going to be honest with you, man. Most people ain't spending them vouchers on food, man. But obviously, Marcus Rashford, he don't care. He's just doing it because he's in a position to help. And that's good of him. He's a man in the world, man. He's a man in the world that's doing more than your Christian pastor.
That's right.
Your pastor's in the world too, but your pastor claims he knows God. But when have your pastor ever helped out the poor of anybody, man? Nobody, he hasn't. Whereas Rashford is helping out, going into his pocket and so forth, making sure these poor kids get meals. And what is showing is brotherhood, man. What is showing is brotherhood. He's in a position to help. And he's using his position to help. Now, all of us ain't as rich as Rashford, so we ain't able to give everyone vouchers. But if we was in that position, then we would give everyone vouchers. But obviously, we ain't rich like Rashford. But go ahead.
And in all that thou puttest thy hand unto.
And listen, man, you help your brother out, and you don't have them wicked thoughts in your mind. The Lord will see, man. And all that you put your hand to, the Lord will bless it. And another thing also, all them riches all them riches that you have, and that little £5 you don't want to give to your poor brother. Understand this, man. You're pushing up your nose. Understand, them riches don't belong to you, man. Them riches belong to the Lord, man. Them riches come from the Lord, and the Lord can look down on you and be like, all right, then, that was your testament. I put that poor brother there, see if you would, push up your face, say, man, you don't want to help him. The Lord could take all your riches away, man. And guess what could happen? That man could fall into your position, and you could fall into his position. He could be the man walking by the way and seeing you out there with no money, and you asking for something, and he hardens. Like, you have to look at everything like that's my brother. And when we start looking at every black man's situation, every black sister's situation, and realizing that we could also be in that situation, that's when we will have brotherhood towards one another. When we start to realize, you know what? I should love my neighbor as I love myself, meaning if I was in that position, I would want help. So it's only right you help someone in that position. And that's how you do it. But we don't love our neighbor as ourselves. So most of the time nowadays, we don't want to help nobody. We just want to do our own thing. And my money is my money, and you can starve, and who cares about you? That's how we've been taught to live in this day and age. Go ahead.
Verse 11. For the poor shall never cease out of the land.
And this is why Christ said it, man. When Christ said, when they gave him the ointment, that's why Christ said to his disciples, the poor you will always have with you, but me you won't always have, man. Why? Because Christ was quoting this right here, that the poor you will always have with you. Go ahead.
Therefore I command thee, saying, thou shalt open thine hand wide unto thy brother, to thy poor, and to thy needy in thy land.
And you should open your hand to the poor brother, man, and to the needy in your land. A brother needs something, you help him out, man. And this is why in the UPK we have food drives, man. Commanding General YAHANNA said they gave away 80 grand last year. You hear it? 80 grand last year, man.
Right.
He said 80 grand, and he goes, the brothers gave away 100 and something grand easily. All the schools together gave out almost £200,000, man. Listen, man, that's what you call brotherhood. That's what you call brotherhood, man. You don't see us. Listen, your pastor would have spent that 200 grand on a Rolls Royce, man. He would have come with a new Rolls Royce with the stars in the Wraith, whatever it is, with the stars in the roof and all of them things. Whereas what? All that food was given away, man. That food drives, or them barrels been sent to other parts of the countries, other countries, and so forth. Brothers is doing this why? Because they love the Lord and they're following the laws, man, and they love their brothers. Whereas in church, they don't love their brothers. But Tazapron, get me Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 17.
Okay, let me just chime out and come back in quickly, yeah?
All right, no, sir.
What's that? Proverbs 21.
21 and 17.
All right. Proverbs 21 and 17. He that loveth pleasure shall be a poor man.
He that what?
He that loveth pleasure shall be a poor man.
And there you have it, man. He that loveth pleasure shall be a poor man.
Right.
But if you love pleasure, you're going to be poor. Why? Because you're going to spend your money in the club.
That's right.
You're going to spend your money buying Hennessy bottles. You're going to spend your money buying weed. You're going to spend your money on Christmas presents. One time, man, there was this girl. All right, she brought her kids all these expensive Christmas presents, and then was asking someone, can they give her money for rent? She put in her status, oh, I need money, my rent, blah, 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 blah. After she brought her kids all these expensive stuff, a Nintendo Switch, she's like, what, £270? Surely that could have went to your rent, man. But you want to live in pleasure, whereas you should say to them kids, man, we don't celebrate Christmas. It will save you a ton of money as well. Also, you want to say to your kids, you can't always have the latest stuff. Why? Because I need to pay for this roof over your head. I need to pay for this bed you're sleeping in. I need to pay for this central heating and so forth. Let them know what they really need in life, man. What does the Bible say? With food and raiment, be content. That's right. Whereas you don't need that Hennessy bottle, man. I know it's nice to have. And some of the price of these bottles is expensive, man. In a club, the bottle of Ace and Spades is what, like £500, man. Imagine that on one bottle. That's your rent. That's near enough your rent money for the month. So you're gonna buy that night, and then guess what happens? 3 days later, oh man, I can't pay my rent, and the bailiffs is gonna kick me out. It's because you're living in pleasure. A wise man would be like, you know what? I can't afford this £500 bottle right now. Now, if you do want to buy a £500 bottle, that's fine. You put your £50 a week and wait until it reaches to that, and then do whatever you want with it. But just make sure your rent is paid. Make sure you can survive. Don't be trying to live in pleasure without that type of money. The Bible says, "He that loveth pleasure shall be a poor man." And this is the thing, man. Most people's case is they love pleasure, so that's why they buy all these things, and then they forget about the rent. They forget to pay back that loan that they took out. They forget to pay back that credit card that they got, which charges interest and whatnot. Every time I go to the bank, they always ask me, "Oh, yeah, your credit's decent. Do you want a credit?" I say, "No, I don't want no credit card, man." I let them know once my money's ran out on that card, I want the card to decline, man. Because why? That's how they get you. They do that, and then how much interest is it? I don't even know.
Depends, but a lot of times like a 3.1, which means that at the end of every year, they're gonna add on 31%. So now whatever you owe on the card, at the end of the year, they're gonna add on a 31% on it as well.
On top of what you owe?
Yeah. So
damn. That's crazy, man. That's crazy, that is, man. No way. So if you owe like £1,000, you're paying back what, like what, £3,000 or something like that. That's crazy, man.
That's like £600.
Something like that, yes. Okay. You imagine they're adding all that on, and then you can't reach that 31%. So what happens? Do they add more again on after that again?
Yes, to do so. If you can't pay that interest, then you get an additional a late charge, and then if you can't pay that charge, they add on another late charge.
Damn.
And if you can't pay, it's just stacking up. And the thing is, it's in a lot of the contracts, but a lot of people don't know what a PR is. So that's the annual the payment reference, meaning annually on top of that card. That's what you have to pay a year, but a lot of people don't know what it is. So they see 3.5, they think it's literally 3.5, but it doesn't mean that. That means of what you owe, that is actually 35%.
Damn.
They don't know what it means on the card, and then they get them like that.
See, and which that means what? You're gonna be in debt forever, man. And Esau knows what he's doing, man. He knows what he's doing. Gives you these cards, and they're happy to give these cards to you as well. Like they force these cards on you, saying, "Yeah, man, you can have this much. You can have a $5,000 allowance. You can have." I think at first they give you $2,000 or something, $3,000. Then after that, even car insurance does it as well. If you miss your car insurance, you have to pay. Is it a late fee as well? So they do all these things, a late fee. They don't like the way we like the way we would deal with one another is we ain't gonna charge a brother late. We'll be like, you know what? Obviously, we understand you can't afford it. We'll work something else. Not with these other nations, man. You have to pay that late fee, and then they keep adding more on getting money out of you. And then guess what happens? They come and repossess your goods. And you could have some, like, say for instance, let's say you've got a watch which costs 10 grand. They could take it. Let's say the watch costs 10 grand and you owe 15 grand. They could take it and value the watch at 3 grand, which means what? You have to still pay the rest of what they want, man. You could be saying to them, this watch is worth 10 grand, and they value it at 3 grand. And that means you owe the other 7 grand still to make up the 10, man. And that's how they get you with all these credit cards. So before you do all of these things, you want to be mindful. Like the captain said, you want to read the paperwork, you want to get counsel, and you want to try not to go over the allowance. Because listen, what you need to realize is Esau doesn't do nothing for free. Like every time Esau's offering you something, you have to wonder why. Like he's offering you a credit card, you have to wonder why he wants to give you a credit card. Like what's the catch? Because they know most people get credit cards and lose all self-control and go wild and start buying stuff and start going crazy with that credit card, max out that credit card, and then they can't pay it back. And believe it or not, man, them credit cards max out pretty quick, man. You'll be having a good time. You'll be living in pleasure, having a good time. Especially if you go to the club with that credit card, you're going to be tapping like, you're going to be tapping the whole night away, man, on the card machine.
That's right.
So you come home, you look at your bank details the next day, and you wake up and you see you've blown £1,500, man, that you have to pay back. And imagine from the £1,500 that you've spent on alcohol, you've got nothing to show for it, man. The alcohol's gone. Understand this. You can't leave the clubs with them bottles, man. Imagine if you have a sip and you want to take it home. You can't take it home. You can't leave the club with them bottles. What happens at the end of the night is they pour them out. If they really pour them out, probably reseal them, who knows? But so imagine they pour them out because you can't walk on the street with them glass bottles and whatnot. So they pour them out. So basically, what you've done is thrown £1,500 to the wind, and that's what the Bible says: "He that loveth pleasure shall be a poor man." You can go to the club and be okay with 2 drinks, man. You go to. We understand that. Women only want the men with the bottles. We understand that. We understand that. Listen, you can buy your little glass and have your little glass, which is like what, a double's like what, £8. Even that's a rip-off, man. Even that's a rip-off. A double is £8. So imagine how much you're paying for the whole bottle. It ain't worth it. The Bible says, "He that loveth pleasure shall be a poor man." Go ahead.
Yeah. And he that loveth wine.
He that what?
He that loveth wine.
He that loveth wine, man. Listen, that alcohol gets expensive sometimes, man. Now, are you allowed to like alcohol? Yes. Are you allowed to buy it? Yes. But you don't want to be taking your last £30 buying a bottle of syrup. It's not wise. You don't want to know your phone bill's due tomorrow, but you're going to draw out the money and spend it on a bottle of alcohol. When you're doing things like that, you're out of control, man. And everything is discipline. So can you buy the alcohol? Yes, but make sure that's like your little leisure money. Make sure you got your, what is it, leisure money. Make sure you got your leisure money. Like that's what you want to do. You want to make sure you got your leisure money that you can go into and spend. And then you want to keep your rent money and your bills money and everything separate. Go ahead.
And oil shall not be rich.
You that loveth the finer things in life and can't afford it, you ain't gonna be rich, man. You ain't gonna be rich. You that love the finer things in life but can't afford it, you're gonna be poor. And what's gonna happen is you're gonna stress everyone around you. You're gonna be asking them, "Can I have money?" Like, all right, what for the rent? You're gonna be like, "No, and I want to buy this bottle of alcohol. I want to buy these trainers." And what happens is half our sisters that live in pleasure that want to be rich. This is why they're on OnlyFans, because really they ain't poor. Really, they've got jobs. They've got jobs, but because they want to live in pleasure and they want the finer things in life, what happens? They're naked on the internet now. Set up OnlyFans. Because our brothers want to live in pleasure, what do? Sell drugs now. Be drug dealers. Like what happens is when most men first start selling drugs, the whole thing is, because while it is, I'm trying to make money because we're poor, you see, and we can't eat. I'm trying to eat. And then you trying to eat turns into you buying bottles of champagne and pouring it on the floor. Like, where do you draw the line? First, you're selling drugs because you know you're poor and you're just trying to eat. And your kids need shoes. You sell drugs. You tell us that sub story in the first place. Then afterwards, we see you buying diamond grills. Now, what happened to you selling drugs because you was poor? Now you're pouring champagne on the floor. What happened to you selling drugs because you was poor? Really, you just want to live like a rock star, man. And then guess what? That lifestyle, guess what happens? It comes to an end one day. All that money you spent in the clubs, all you got is pictures to show for it. But then you're sitting in jail for like 11 years. Sitting in jail telling people on the wing, "Oh, when I was selling drugs, listen, man, it's not worth it, man. Now you've lost 11 years of your life, and now you're just on the wing in jail, telling everyone about, because when I was selling drugs, I had this and that." The thing is, now you don't have it no more, man. And then when you come out of jail, guess what? You're back at square one, back to your mom's. All that you lived in pleasure, so all that money you had, you didn't even save it. And that's the thing. Most of these people that make money illegally don't even save it. They don't even think, you know what I'm doing is illegal. Let me at least put some of the money down in case something happens.
Go
ahead.
There's nowhere for them to really put it, and there's no one they can trust. So if they put it under the floorboards, if you remember back in the days when they get raided, the 5 cars in the driveway is gone. You get the money under the floorboards, all the stack of it. The 5-0s found it. They brought in whatever they're gonna bring in out of it, and they take whatever they're gonna take out of it, and that's it, man. That's the end of it.
Right. And then that means what? That means you've done all that for free, man.
That's right.
You've done all that for free. Like you can't buy houses with it. Now, East Indians and them, they can buy houses with it. Why? Because they've got family members that run businesses. So what they do is they pass the money, they clean the money through their businesses. And then that person says, "No, we gifted him the money." Obviously, us as black people, we ain't, the businesses that we have is what, a food shop. You ain't getting 50 grand through no food shop, man. You ain't making 50 grand through the barbers, man. So what happens is the police be like, "How did you get the money?" But I got a barber shop. The police know, man. And then also what they do now is everything that they believe you brought with that drug money, guess what they do? They take all them assets, the jewelry, the cars, and then now you've got nothing to show for it, man. Nothing at all to show for it. All you've got to show for it is a jail sentence, man. And you sit against the Lord for free, man. Listen, we shouldn't be drug dealers.
Right.
The Lord would rather you be poor than sell drugs, man. The Lord would rather you be poor and an honorable man than you give poison to people. Like a man that sells drugs for money, he would also do anything else for money, man. He would be a homosexual for money. if selling drugs wasn't an option, he would find something else to do illegal. And if a rich Edomite said to him, "All right, you be my toy boy for this much," that black man that sells drugs, he would do it, man. For the money, he would do it. That Edomite offers him 100 grand, he's gonna do it, man. He's like, what, 100 grand? He's going to do it, man. Whereas a poor man who understands his poor and says, "I'm not selling drugs, man, because I got morals." He won't sell it. He won't. He won't he won't and end up being some Edomite man's woman for some money, man. Whereas the drug dealer would, because they do anything for that cash. People on OnlyFans do anything for that cash. Whereas a poor man's got more morals than all of them, man. A poor man should be respected way more than the drug dealer, because he knows he's poor and desperate times calls for desperate measures. But he understands, I'd rather be poor than sell drugs. Drop the Tizapon, give me Ecclesiastes chapter 5 and verse 5.
On 5 and 5. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 5. Better is it that thou shouldest not vow than that thou shouldest vow and not pay.
And what people do is vows. Like, people always do vows, man, where you make a promise to the Lord and whatnot. Sometimes you make a vow to a brother, like, you know what, borrow me this and I'll pay you back on this day. What? Read that part again. What does it say?
Verse 5. Better is it that thou shouldest not vow than that thou shouldest vow and not pay.
It says it's better that you shouldn't vow than you vowing and not paying, man. Like, you shouldn't promise the Lord or a brother something, "I'm going to do this," and then you don't do it. Imagine you say to a brother, "You know what, borrow me this and I 100% pay you back next Tuesday, I promise." And the next Tuesday comes and you don't pay him back, man. You're better off just not making that vow. You've made that promise that you know you ain't going to keep. It's better you don't make that promise, man, if you know you can't keep it. Go ahead.
Verse 6. Suffer not thy mouth to cause thy flesh to sin.
Suffer not thy mouth to cause thy flesh to sin, man. Meaning what? Don't just give lip service, making a vow and a promise and saying you're going to do this and you're going to do that, saying you're going to make this vow to the Lord, saying you're going to stop doing this, saying you're going to pay this brother back next Tuesday, and then you don't pay him back. Go ahead.
Neither say thou before the angels that it was an error.
It says, neither say before the angels that it was an error, meaning what? You shouldn't make a vow to the Lord and then after say, "Oh, you know what, Lord, that vow is cancelled. That vow was an error." You can't do that either, man. Like, if you make a vow to the Lord, you better be serious, man. And it's like when we came in here, we made a vow to the Lord, man. We made an oath to the Lord, man. That's right. You can't just come in here and make an oath to the Lord and then change your mind. I mean, if you know you weren't going to keep the oath, just don't take it in the first place. There's nobody forcing you to be in the truth, man. Just don't take the oath in the first place if you know you ain't going to keep that vow and keep the oath. Go ahead.
God. Wherefore should God be angry at thy voice and destroy?
And listen, man, you're going to make the Lord mad at you, man. You making all these vows that you're not going to keep, man. Go ahead. Actually, jump to verse 10.
And on verse 10. He that loveth silver shall not be satisfied with silver.
Now, people that love money are never satisfied, man. Never, ever, ever. They keep going, going, man. Listen, like, let's say, for instance, a drug dealer who will make what? Say, "Oh, I need to feed my kids." He'll start off making £1,000 a week, and then he has to keep going, man. And there's no end to it. He that loveth silver is never satisfied. So if you love money, you're never going to be satisfied, and you're always going to be chasing it and chasing it and chasing it until one day you destroy yourself, man. Go on, did you say something? Yes. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, Lucky, and what you said, that is heavy right there, man. There's, you know what I mean? I've watched documentaries, and some people, they was making lots of money, and they just couldn't help themselves. Right. You know what I mean? They had to jump to this scam, that scam, bank robberies, go in and basically anything that was there till the point that they got locked up because they just couldn't have enough.
See, and that's how it goes, man. You keep going because you can't have enough, and because you love money that much. Where the thing is, it's nice to have money, but the problem is loving it. Once you love it, you go all out and whatnot. Once you love it, you will go all out and do whatever, man. You will get what's that term, a sugar daddy? You'll get a sugar daddy, man. That's the term, a sugar daddy. You love money that much, you'll go and get a sugar daddy where they do what? Go on dates with men they don't like. Go on dates with men that they hate. They go on dates with men that they hate. Hate, why? Because they know that man's got money. Now you love money that much that you're willing to do something that you know you shouldn't be doing, but the money's greater to you than your morals. So for your love of the money, you love that money more than you love yourself.
Right.
You're willing to put yourself in harm's way for that money. Like these sisters in the strip club, they don't want to be in the strip club, but for the love of that money, they'll act like they're having the time of their life, man. They will act like they're like all these men with their phones out, recording them, degrading them, throwing money over them, and the men are throwing what is $1 at them. It's $1. They're throwing $1 over them, man. And the sad thing is, man, the men are basically saying, yeah, these women are hoes, and these women are basically saying, I know I'm a hoe, but I love that money so much. And the men are throwing the money on them to degrade them, and the women are looking at the men like, these men are disgusting, man. Look at them throwing all their money. Meanwhile, they're both looking at each other as disgusting. When how about men stop going to the strip club throwing their dollars, and women stop stripping, and you see them go with a big wad like this, and they're throwing it all over the woman, and the men are having the time of their life, and the woman's shaking her behind, man. And then when she goes home at night, she's depressed, man. Right. She's depressed when she goes home at night. She has to look at her son in the face, and then guess what happens? She tries to raise her son some next type of way because she hates men, and it's just a cycle where you take the love of money out of it, and life would be a lot easier, man. You stop loving money that much, life would be a lot easier because we chase this, we chase it, and then now our daughters are swinging from a pole, man. Actually swinging from a pole, and these men that's been out all day making their money, whether legally or illegally. They imagine you do all that just to throw it in the strip club. So much for I'm selling drugs because my family's poor and we need to eat. How did that end up with you being in the strip club with a big wad of cash? Go on to Zarpan, was you gonna say something?
Other one. The song what Wycliffe, just because she dances go-go, that doesn't make her a hoe. You know what I mean? I know that garbage, man.
Wycliffe's part of the problem, man. Right. Wycliffe will have a sister believe, don't worry, you're dancing on a pole, but you're not a hoe. Right. Like that's what he would teach her. Whereas if people say you're dancing on a pole, well, you're a hoe. If you say that to her, it might resonate with us. That just makes me a hoe. Then she might be like, I don't want to be a hoe. But if you tell her she's not a hoe just because she's a stripper, like imagine she strips and then she comes home to you, man. Imagine you scrolling down the internet and you see men videos of your woman all on the internet, man. Listen, man, that makes her a hoe, man.
That's right.
So Wycliffe, man, Wycliffe just needs to be quiet and just keep calling 911 because his heart's broken. His heart's broken. Tell Wycliffe that's why his heart's broken, man. Because he's got with a hoe that is saying he said this. She's not a hoe because she dances go-go. That's why Wycliffe's calling 911 because his heart's broke, man. Because he's got with a hoe, man. It's just how it goes. But go ahead.
Okay. Slappy. Yeah. Now, just on the back of that, it was a book that was handed years ago. It's about a pornography, and in the book, you know, like it says that basically 60% of the porn stars they die. They literally take their own life. Damn. They're sad, even though you know they want the money, they want the finer things of life. When you face yourself at night. That's right. And you realize what you've done, it can make you want to take your life. Right. So, you know what I mean? Even though people are like, well, it's the money, I'm living good. When everyone's gone home, they got to face themselves. Right. And they realize, you know what? nah, man, I'm not doing the right thing.
Right. And that's heavy, man. And it makes sense why all these celebrities that you follow who are rich suffer from depression and everything else, man. It makes sense. Most of them end up being drug addicts, man. Like you look at their life and you think, yo, this person's rich. Like Whitney Houston, man, died like a crackhead, man. And she's got the money, man, which lets you know money ain't everything. And to start upon, imagine this: we poor and we happier than these rich celebrities, man.
That's right.
We poor, we happier than these rich celebrities, which is letting you know, which is letting you know money ain't everything. But go ahead.
Can. Nor he that loveth abundance with increase. This is also vanity.
Listen, man, if you love increase and love making money and money and money is vanity, you're chasing the wind, man. You're running around doing all of this and it's vanity. Go ahead.
Okay, verse 11. When goods increase, they are increased that eat. They are increased that eat of them. And what good is there to be owners thereof, saving beholding of them with their eyes?
Go ahead.
Verse 12. The sleep of the laboring man is sweet.
Listen, man, the sleep of a laboring man is sweet. Like this is a man that works for his funds and his content, does what he needs to do, his money and his content. Like to up on you, like after work, you're tired, you want to go to sleep. Now,
right.
A rich man doesn't ever want to sleep, man, because he's constantly chasing money, constantly chasing money. He don't sleep, man, because everything to him is money, 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 money. Whereas you labor, you get enough to survive, and you go enjoy your sleep and go enjoy your life. Not this rich, not this person that wants to be rich. Go ahead.
Can. Whether he eat little or much, but the abundance of the rich will not suffer him to sleep.
This man wants to get rich and more rich and more rich and more rich, and there's no end to it, man. They want to work 7 days a week or do whatever illegally 7 days a week, so forth. Now, there's nothing wrong with wanting money, but obviously don't put yourself in an early grave trying to do it, man. Don't be working yourself to death. You're meant to get rest, man. Like sometimes there's actually a thing of people working themselves to death, man. There's actually a thing. You work so much hours, man, and one day you go to sleep and you just don't wake up, man. You work yourself into an early grave. In you chasing all them riches, working yourself into an early grave, guess what happens? All that money goes nowhere, man. It's all vanity. Whereas you just make it as much as you need, and then you go relax and whatnot. Go ahead.
Like the other one as well. They have to stress or not. They get lack of sleep because they got to try and keep all those riches as well, man.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. That's even worse. That's the worst part. You know what I mean? Can make it all.
The richer you get, the more you have to spend, man. Because the richer you get, the price of your house goes up. The richer you get, the value of your car goes up, which means what? In the value of that car going up, it means if you puncture that tire, the price of that tire is way more than the car that you had previously. The engine way more than the engine that you had previously. So the price of everything goes up, man.
Right.
Like people labor to be rich, and don't get no sleep, man. And at the end, it comes to naught. You realize at the end it's all vanity. Go ahead.
Okay. But the abundance of the rich will not suffer him to sleep. Verse 13. Wherefore is a sore evil. Therefore is a sore evil which I have seen under the sun, namely riches kept for the owners thereof to their hurt.
Listen, man, most rich people, in them being rich, it actually hurts them, man. Most people being rich, it actually hurts them, especially if you're a drug addict. What do you being rich? You've got more money to buy drugs and all of them things, or you just chase riches so much that it's to your hurt, man.
That's right.
Chase riches so much that you end up harming yourself and whatnot, man. Like look at Kobe Bryant, man. All them riches, man. And what happened to him, man? The brother died a horrible death, man. A plane crash. Whereas all them riches, you do things like buy planes and whatnot, and it's to your hurt, man. Now, I'm not saying you can't have a plane. No, I'm not saying that, man. I'm saying you put the Lord first, man. Now, all them riches, imagine that basketball career. Imagine all that basketball career. I think his net worth was what, 500 million. His net worth was 500 million, man. And retired about what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and just to die like that, which lets you know, man, it's all vanity, man. Read on.
And so like the other one, if I may as well, like, you know, it says, for their owners thereof, to their hurt, it's like the more money you have, the more problems you have. So, you know, people looking to hijack you and, you know, and you ain't got no real friends, man. You know what I say? Right. If you got to know that, Salakia, to know you got a good friend is when you ain't really got nothing, man. And the right with you, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Having that money, everyone's just around you for the money, man. They know, you know what? We don't really like him, but let's be around him because he might break us off a check. He might do this. And then when you're broke, these people ain't around you, man. These people ain't around you, man. And that's why if you do happen to get rich, you just keep the same people that's around you while you was poor, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's heavy that you said that, Mike. Tyson said that as well. He goes that when he was boxing and he was doing the best, he goes, he had loads of people around him that he thought were his friends, and as soon as the rape charge and things got rough, he couldn't even get in any form of contact with them at all.
See, and Salaki, it's funny you say that. I seen that Fat Joe was talking about Mike Tyson, and he goes that one time he phoned Mike Tyson, and the first thing Mike Tyson said is, "What do you need some money?" So apparently he was giving everyone money. And apparently he was getting money and breaking it off to everyone, and that's brotherhood, but he's not doing it in the right way. He's breaking it off to people that's using him. Now that's step one that you need to know if someone's using you and whatnot. But read on.
Verse 14. But those riches perish by evil travail, and he begetteth a son, and there is nothing in his hand. Verse 15.
Name the riches, but those riches perish. Go ahead. Read on.
Verse 15. As he came forth of his mother's womb, naked, shall he return.
So all that money you're chasing, all them riches, you can't take it with you, man. You can't buy your way into the kingdom of heaven. You can't buy your way into nothing, man. All them riches you can't take with you, man. As you came out your mother's womb, is when you die, you go before the Lord with none of that, man. You think you're going before the Lord with that 100-gram gold chain? Nah, man. You're going before the Lord, and the Lord opens up them books, man. The Lord opens up them judgment books, man, and it's gonna have your deeds of what you did right, what you did wrong, man. It's gonna open up them books, and you're gonna be judged out of them books. You ain't gonna be able to say, Lord. You ain't gonna be able to pay off the Lord like how people used to pay off the judges and the police back in the days. Don't work like that, man. You can't bribe the Lord with money, man. Go ahead.
And God, naked shall he return to go as he came, and he shall take nothing of his labor, which he may carry away in his hand.
Read that again.
And he shall take nothing of his labor, which he take nothing of his labor, which he may carry away in his hand.
Listen, man, you can't take none of that labor, man. You see everything that you have here. You can't take it with you, man. All that money, all them clothes, everything, you can't take it with you, man. You're gonna be there with none of that, and guess what? None of those things is gonna matter, man. All that money is not gonna matter. You can't say to the Lord, well, you know, I sold drugs, but I got all this money. I can pay you off. It don't work like that, man. Go ahead. Is there any more on that? Is that about it?
Yeah. So evil. But I read verse 16. This verse 16. And this also is a so evil that in all points as he came, so shall he go. And what profit has he that he has labored for the wind?
You've labored for nothing, man. What does the wind do? The wind comes and goes, man. You've labored for nothing. Imagine everything you've done has been for nothing. You chasing all the riches has been for nothing, man. Because when you die, it don't mean nothing. It's a waste of time, man. Drop that. Give me Psalms 37 and verse 21.
Psalms chapter 37, verse 21. The wicked borroweth and payeth not again.
What?
The wicked borroweth and payeth not again.
Listen, man. Everybody can relate to this, man.
That's right.
Everybody can relate to this, man. People borrow you and borrow and tell you they're going to pay you back. And listen, man. Did you read that again?
The wicked borroweth and payeth not again.
They hustle you, man. They say, oh, yeah, because can I borrow this and I'll give you back and I'll do this and I'll do that. And in their intentions is not to pay you back, man.
Right.
Their intentions is never to pay you back. Their intention is to borrow from you while you think they're borrowing it and you think you got a chance of getting it back. You ain't going to get it back, man. The Bible says the wicked borroweth and payeth not again, meaning they borrow money off you and don't pay it back. Listen, man, don't be borrowing money off people and promising I'll give you back on Monday. You know you ain't giving them back on Monday, man.
That's right.
Now, you're better off saying, I need to borrow something, but I don't know when I can give you back, but I will when I can. That would be better. At least they ain't phoning you on Monday. At least they don't have to run you down on Monday, man. The Bible says, read it. So like I say that again to Zopon.
Can't slack it as well. Like you could be lending it. Like you might think, right, I've got a little money coming. Like they're gonna pay you back on Monday, and then asking for it on a Thursday. When you might be coming into some money on a Saturday, for instance, and you say, right, I'm gonna lend him this. He's gonna pay it back on Monday. I've got a little something to back me up on Saturday. You know what I'm saying? and then he doesn't pay you back. And then they don't pay you back. So you know what I mean, it's like falling short.
And then what makes it worse is you could have borrowed him that, and then you promise so, and then he says he's gonna give you back on Thursday. So you say to someone else, yeah, don't worry, come check me Thursday, I'll give you on Thursday. This man doesn't give you that money on Thursday. Yeah. Guess what happened? The next man that you said you're gonna give money to, he's looking at you sideways now. He's looking at you like you're a liar. And listen, we hear this too much times in the black community that such and such was meant to give me my money, but they didn't give me, so I can't pay you. We hear that too much time in the black community, man.
That's what I mean. Yeah, it follows on, you know what I mean?
We hear that too much times in the black community, man. Someone saying, yo, on Thursday. Then on Thursday, what happens? Such and such didn't give me the money, so I can't pay you. Then if you owe someone something, you have to go to that person. Whereas if we just straight from the beginning and just be to the point and say, you know what? I ain't got the money to give you back until this date. At least that person can't make plans for that money. Because you tell them Thursday, guess what's going to happen? They're going to be ringing off your phone on Thursday, man. And then they do the whole avoiding thing, the whole avoiding thing. You phone them, they don't pick up, then you pull it on private, they answer, they hear your voice, they hang up. We could just avoid all of that, man, if we just be straightforward with each other. If we just be like, I ain't got the money. I ain't got the money right now. I can't afford it. But I can get to you. I'll let you know when I can. At least they can be like, all right, no sweat. But the Bible says what? Read that again.
The wicked borroweth and payeth not again.
It says the wicked borroweth and payeth not again, man. Meaning he takes that and he's got no intentions of paying you back, man. He's got no intentions of paying you back, man. You borrow him through the rent, and then you say, yo, so what's up with that? What's up with that money you owe me? Oh, I haven't got it. But then you see them on the date. But then you see them on jet skis on holiday. But then you see them booking flights here, there, and everywhere. But you can't get your money back. Like we need to deal better with each other, man.
That's right.
If someone borrows you money, you pay them back, man. Because they showed you extreme brotherhood by borrowing you money, man. And you need to show your brotherhood by if you promising to pay them back, you actually pay them back. Now, if you can't afford to pay them back, that's different. But you can afford to pay them back if you're going on holiday and jet skis and buying bottles of champagne and all of them things. That's not you not being able to pay back. That's you showing that you've got no brotherhood, man. That's what that is, man. A man with brotherhood, if he had the money to pay back, he'll pay it back, man. On the date, he said. Is there any more on that? Is that about it?
The there's more on that slack, but I want to say, because if I may, it's
Yeah, go
like,
ahead.
you're creating an enemy out of a brother, you know what I mean, for no reason. And you're trying to, you're making him think in his head that you got one over on him when like, yeah, got that money off him, but you know what I mean, I had no intention to pay him back. And you're making him thinking like, you know what I mean, like you got one over on him, innit? So now you're turning him, you're trying to make him into an enemy at the same time, man. You know what I mean?
And then that makes enemies. And what happens?
Mm.
Black people do what? Kill each other over money, man.
Right.
Over a situation. Over a little situation. A man will see it as yo, I brought him this and he's doing all this, is disrespecting me.
That's right.
And before it creates a whole nother issue. Whole nother issue that we didn't need. If we just spoke to one another and said, you know what, I can't pay it back, but just give me some time and I'll sort something out. Now it saves the embarrassment. This man pulling up on you and all of that stuff saves all of that, man.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's some people that are very emotional. They'll go on Instagram and write a whole post about this person's got my money, but blah 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 blah. And then you feel like you need to defend yourself, and then the whole world watching, and then you're saying some slick shit to him. He's saying some slick shit to you. And then before you know it, you've made a full-out enemy, man. Why? Because we conduct ourselves properly and just, address it like men. And one of us say, I can't pay it back right now. Instead, we do the whole avoiding thing. The whole avoiding thing. That's what people do. Disappear. Phone goes off. All of them things. They hide from you. And then when you do see them, they look at you like they've seen a ghost, man. And say, I'm gonna get the money for you. I'm give me 10 minutes, I'm gonna get the money for you. Then you don't see them again. Obviously, if you're gonna do all of that, just don't borrow money from no one. Go ahead.
Or it's the one where you're walking down the street and you see them, and it's like they're seeing a ghost. Like, oh, yeah, man, yo, I was gonna ring you, yeah, man, something happened, man. You know what I mean? But trust me, I'm gonna sort the money out here. Right. And it's like they're happy to leave, you know what I mean, as soon as they're done with you.
Right. And then you don't get the money, man. And then you don't get the money, man. And there's laws in the Bible that what stops us going through them situations that we go through.
That's right.
Situations, man. And all these things is in the Bible, but you won't ever find out these things in church, man. Like in church, you won't ever find out about borrowing and lending and how you meant to treat a brother and pay a brother back. But give me Romans chapter 13 and verse 7.
Slide that one.
Go ahead.
Finish up that one. Finish.
Go ahead.
God. So the wicked borroweth, payeth not again, but the righteous showeth mercy and giveth.
And the righteous shows mercy and gives, man. The righteous listen to your story and thought you needed something, man. They said, all right, don't worry. I don't want to see you out on the streets. Take this. Now you're being wicked using them because you know the righteous, man. Right. And that's like what bless them that despitefully use you. The wicked right there is someone that despitefully uses you, man. Right. They despitefully use you. Like everything Christ was saying, Christ was quoting the Old Testament, man. The wicked borroweth and payeth not again, but the righteous showeth mercy and giveth. Meaning a righteous man gives, man. And the wicked does what? Don't even understand that this righteous brother is trying to help him out, and he just sees it as an opportunity to scam him, man. He sees it as an opportunity to rob this righteous man. This man gave you money out of the goodness of his heart, and all you see is, you know what? Forget him. I'm not paying him back. I'm going to scam him. That's how you see it, man. When you're meant to see it as, you know what? This brother showed mercy on me, man. I'm going to pay him back as soon as I can. That's an honorable brother, man. He helped me when he didn't have to help me. And then what do you do? Take that money and not pay him back, man. Have no intentions of paying him back, man. Any more on that?
That was it on that, yeah. Proverbs.
Give me Romans chapter 13 and verse 7.
It's kind. Romans chapter 13, verse 7. Render therefore to all their dues. Tribute to whom tribute is due.
Tribute to whom tribute is due, man. Go ahead.
Khan, custom to whom custom.
And custom to whom, man. Whatever you owe, man, you give a man. Tribute to whom tribute is due, man. Custom to whom custom, man. Like Christ said, what? Give Caesar what belongs to Caesar, man. Give him his taxes, man. Christ went with this tax evasion, man. Christ, give him his taxes, man. Go ahead.
God. Fair, it's like custom to whom custom. Fair to whom fair.
To whom fear, go ahead.
God. Honor to whom honor.
Honor to whom honor, man. And money to who you owe money, man. But go ahead.
Verse 8. Oh no man anything.
What does the Bible say?
Oh no man anything.
Don't owe no man anything, man. If you borrow money off a brother, you give him back that money, man. Oh no man anything, man. You give tribute to who tribute is due, custom to customs due. Oh no man anything, man. Don't have him. Don't have a man out there saying, "Oh, I borrowed him money and he ran off with it and he ain't paid me back." You don't want people to be like, "Well, I ain't gonna borrow him money because he don't pay back when he says he's gonna pay back." Says, "Oh no man, nothing, man." Go ahead.
God. But to love one another.
And if we love one another, what would happen if we love one another? I would borrow you sufficient fee need, and you would pay me back on the day you said you're gonna pay me back, man. That's what would happen if we loved one another. But if I borrow to you and you ain't paying me back, even though you told me you would. I love you, but you don't love me, man. It shows that I love you, but you don't love me, man. And if I'm running you down and stressing you out, it shows that I don't love you that much. Like, we ain't supposed to be running each other down and stressing each other out, but it helps if deadlines are met. Now you can phone a brother and say, "Yo, so obviously, and you're any closer to getting what you owe me or whatnot." But you don't want to go on the internet and slander him and all of them kind of things. Like, what you want to do is just be like, "All right, then. Well, I've learned my lesson. I ain't borrowing him again or anything." Like, you've got the right to not want to borrow someone again who said they're going to do something and didn't do it. Why? Because that person can't be trusted.
That's right.
That person can't be trusted. So if it's a person that can't be trusted, you don't want to be doing all of them things. That's right. But give me Exodus chapter 22 and verse. Slackers, you're going to say something to Zapon?
Shall I finish that up?
Say that again.
Shall I finish up? That was just a little bit of it.
Oh, is there any more of it?
There's more, Khan, yeah.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Khan. But to love one another, for he that loveth one another has fulfilled the law.
He that loves one another has fulfilled the law, man. Christians read this and say, all I have to do is say I love you and not fulfilled the law. It don't mean that, man. You loving your brother fulfills the law. Why? Because you ain't going to have sex with his wife, man. You ain't going to shoot him. You ain't going to stab him. You ain't going to rob him. You ain't going to harm him. You ain't going to break into his house. You ain't going to watch what he's got and plan to rob him. You ain't going to covet. If you love him, you fulfilled the law because you won't do none of those things, man. That's what that's talking about. But in church, they'll pull this to say the law's done away with. They don't love their brother, man. The pastor's having sex with your wife. He ain't fulfilled the law, man, because he's breaking all them laws, man. Any more on that? Or that it?
That's it. That one, yeah.
All right, give me Exodus chapter 22 and verse 25.
Exodus 22. Exodus 22, 25.
Yeah, Exodus 22 and 25.
Exodus chapter 22, verse 25. If thou lend money to any of my people that is poor by thee, thou shalt not be to him as an usury.
Usury meaning what? You put interest on, man. You can't say to him, all right, then, I'll borrow you 200, but next week you pay me back 250. Right. You can't do that, man. You can't do that how Esau does that with us. Because this is your brother, man. So you can't do that. But with the other nations, you can put on usury. You can be like, okay, I'll borrow you 500 and you pay me back 1,500. You can do that to these other nations, but to your people, they're poor. So you put in usury on, you're just going to make them more poor. You just
Right.
borrow the bread, and then he just pays you back whenever he gets it back. Go ahead.
Can't. Neither shalt thou lay upon him usury.
Meaning you can't do all the interest stuff with him. Go ahead.
Can't. Verse 26. If thou at all take thy neighbor's raiment to pledge,
You take his clothes or whatever he's got, or you take anything off him, and he gives you that as a promise, saying, "Don't worry, hold this, and I'll give you the money back, and I'll come and get my what's it called." They used to do that in the petrol station. You know, when you'd forget your card, they'd take your phone as a pledge. That's what it is. They would take your phone, and then you would go home, get the money, give them the money, and you'd get your phone back, or if you didn't have the money, you could give things as a pledge. Now, this brother's gave you his raiment as a pledge. And why has he gave you his raiment? Because he's got nothing else, man. He ain't got no Xbox to give you as a pledge. He ain't got no brand new phone to give you as a pledge. He ain't got no car to give you as a pledge. All he's got is his raiment, man, and his blankets and so forth. He's got nothing. So these little things that he has, these is valuable to him, man, because he's a poor man. So you take his raiment to pledge, like you take it. It says, "Borrow me this, and I'll give you back later on." He gives you his raiment. Go ahead.
Thou shalt deliver it unto him by that the sun goeth down.
And you must give that back to him by the sun goes down, man. Now, if he ain't got the money to give you, you have to give him back his raiment. Why? Because he's so poor, man. He's not trying to scam you. He ain't a scam artist. This man just genuinely can't get the money back what he's supposed to pay you because he's poor. So you give him back his raiment, and you know why you give him back his raiment? Because his raiment doesn't mean nothing to you, man. It don't mean nothing to you. You've got the funds and whatnot. What does this man's coat mean to you, man? What does this man's duvet mean to you? It don't mean nothing to you, man. You're just gonna have it and throw it one side. So it's better you give him back his raiment, man. Because that's all he's got is that raiment. To you, it don't mean nothing. Like, it's not something that you can keep. And what's it mean to you? This is his duvet or his coat or whatever he's got that he covers himself with, which means nothing to you. You've already got your stuff to cover yourself with. This is just going to be in your house, thrown in a cupboard somewhere. And then you keeping it is you being spiteful to him, man. Is you being horrible and evil and spiteful to him. Whereas whether you have his raiment or not, it means nothing to you, man. Whether he has his raiment back, it means nothing to you. Because you keeping his raiment, you ain't going to use it anyway, man, because it means nothing to you. So the Lord's saying, give him it back. Go ahead.
Verse 27. For that is his covering only. It is his raiment for his skin.
That's his covering, man. That's all this brother's got is poor, and that's his covering. And that's what the oppressor does, man. What he does is it comes and strips your house naked, man. It sends them bailiffs to strip your house naked. They even take your bed, everything, man. Take your TV, leave you in the dark, man. All you left with is an empty room, man. They come and take your car. Imagine that car that you've got outside. It takes you to work, and they come and take that car, which means what? You're going to lose your job, man.
That's right.
That's what they do, man. They take your car and tow it away. We can't be like our brothers to each other, how these publicans are to us, man. We can't be like that to each other. Go ahead.
And also with the oppressor, what's so bad is you have a house. If the debt is higher than what you can pay, they can actually auction the house that you were at and then just hand you back the remains. So if they need like 60 grand and your house is like, what's the price? Like your house is like 300 grand. They'll take this 60 from your house and hand you back the rest. Damn. But they will sell your house and then just like let you have the remaining change.
Damn. And I guarantee they sell it at what they think it's worth, innit? See, people think it's worth way more, but to them, they could think it's only worth about that much, not realizing you put everything into it. Like, we can't be like that towards one another. Because if we are like that towards one another, we ain't no better than our oppressor, man. All these nations are supposed to look at us and see the wisdom and be like, you know what? These nations love one another, man. But these nations are supposed to see us say, these Israelites love one another, man. Meaning, they're meant to see a poor of our people and be like, damn, in China, we wouldn't give them a penny, but look how they looked after their brother. We're supposed to be like, what righteousness is, man. Everyone's supposed to look at us and be like, damn, they're wise, man. Look how they treat one another. But obviously, if you put in usury on, scamming your brothers, then obviously you know better than these heathens, man. But read on.
Canon Khan, raiment for his skin, wherein shall he sleep, and it shall come to pass when he crieth unto me that I will hear.
When he cries unto the Lord, man. Only sometimes, man. No, I mean, it's like when it shall come to pass when he crieth unto the Lord will be gracious unto him, meaning what? The Lord's going to take his side, man.
That's right.
His raiment, man. That's his raiment that he needs to sleep in. He needs it to cover him. He needs it to cover him. Now, you don't need his raiment. Now, the Lord will bless you if you be like, you know what, the brother can't pay me back, but out of love and brotherhood, here's your raiment, man. That's it. It's not like it's life-changing money. It's just, it's just to cover his skin. This man will cry to the Lord, and the Lord will hear him, man. And the Lord will be on his side and not your side, man. Go ahead.
Right. And the Lord, cry unto me that I will hear, for I am gracious.
The Lord's gracious, man. And what you need to understand is the Lord is what? The God of him also, man. The Lord is the power of the rich and the poor of Israel, man. So if this man cries to the Lord ain't gonna look down and be like, oh, I'm gonna respect him because he's rich. You don't work like that, man. The Lord's gonna look down and be like, all right, then this is how you're treating your brothers. Maybe I should switch the roles. Like the Lord will bless you in whatever you do, man. If you help out the poor of your people. But give me Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 27.
That's right. Salakia, 23, did you say? Verse 7.
Proverbs 3 and verse 27.
3. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 27. Withhold not good from them to whom it is due.
Read that again.
Withhold not good from them to whom it is due.
Withhold not good from whom it is due, man. Go ahead.
Okay. When it is in thy power of thine hands to do it.
Hey, go ahead.
Verse 28. Say not unto thy neighbor, go and come again.
And this is what our people do, man. This is what our people do. Like, say for instance, someone cuts you grass. You have the money, but you say, oh, yeah, come, I'll give you tomorrow. The Bible says don't do that, man. Or if someone asks you for something, you will have it right there, and then you send them away saying, oh, I'll give you tomorrow. Come back next week. When you've got it right there, man. And usually what happens is, there used to be a brother that used to cut people's grass in the ghetto. And because black people didn't want to pay him, they had the money, just wanted him to wait, man. Like, and they know that he's going to keep coming back and knocking the door because he needs that money, man. He's knocking the door 5 times, keeps coming back, and you're saying, come back next week. These times you have the money, you're just being spiteful, man. You give him on the day, man. You have it right there and then. You give him, man. Read that again.
That's right. It's like, withhold not good from them to whom it is due, when it is in thy power, when it's in the power of thy hands to do it.
When it's in the power of your hands to do something that you can do it, man. You do it, man. It's the power in your hands for you to do it right now. Go ahead.
So like, okay. Verse 28. Say not unto thy neighbor, go and come again. And
you ain't supposed to say to him, go and come again.
Right.
Meaning you ain't supposed to say to him, come back tomorrow. These times you've got the money right there.
That's right.
Yeah, you've got the money right there. So you ain't meant to say to that brother, come back tomorrow. You give him the money, man. Go ahead.
Go and come again tomorrow. I will give when thou hast it by thee.
And if you have that money with you, man, you pay him, man. A man does a job for you, and you say to him, I'm going to pay you. You pay him on that day, man. Don't let him do the job, and then you say, "Oh, you have to come back next week." Listen, man, that's disrespectful, man, and he's gonna be angry with you, man. He's probably gonna want to lay hands on you, man. He's probably made plans with that money already, thinking, "All right, I'm gonna decorate this room, and then the money that £50 you said you're gonna give me, I'm gonna go do this." And then you tell him, "Oh, come back next week." You can't do that, man. You either have to negotiate with him beforehand, saying, "You know what, next week is next week fine." Make sure he says next week fine, and then next week you give him. But if you tell him do this under pretense is getting today money today, you better pay him today, man. Like the whole Bible's about brotherhood. Like the whole Bible's about stopping us from having problems, man. About stopping us from having all these problems we have in the black community. And most of the problems we do have is over money. It's over money, man. We fall out over money. It's saying go and come and people do that, man. Black people especially do that. Oh, yeah, come back tomorrow. And tomorrow, guess what? They don't open the door, man. Tomorrow, they don't answer the phone.
That's
The
right.
Bible teaches us to avoid all these problems that we have with one another. It teaches us to love one another and deal with each other properly, man, and not defraud our neighbor, man. Go ahead.
Verse 29. Devise not evil against thy neighbor, seeing he dwelleth securely by thee.
It says, read that again.
Devise not evil against thy neighbor, seeing he dwelleth securely by thee.
It says, don't plot evil against your neighbor, meaning what? How do we plot evil against our neighbor? We see someone with money and we be like, yo, you like, just pull up on him and you can rob him. We set one another up, man. The Lord say, don't set your brother up, man. That's what we like to do, set one another up. Happens all the time, man. We set each other up. You'll see someone with something and you'll be like, yo, he comes out at this time and he does this at this time. Listen, man, don't plot evil against your neighbor, man. Don't plot evil against your neighbor for no reason. This neighbor ain't bothering you. He ain't doing you no harm. He's just trying to live his life. And he should be allowed to wear his gold chain around you, man, because you're his brother. And we're meant to look out for one another as brothers, meaning I should be able to come around you with my gold chain on, man. And you shouldn't be phoning someone saying, yo, he's got a big gold chain, man. Come and rob him. You shouldn't be on the phone doing that, man.
That's right.
Because why? You're my brother, and I'm supposed to feel secure around you, man. I'm supposed to be around you and be like, you know what? Nothing's gonna happen, man. Because he's a black man like me, and he's my brother. I'm supposed to see black people and feel safe, man. I'm supposed to see black people and feel safe. I'm not supposed to see them and tuck in my chain. I'm not supposed to see them and have to hide my chain. I'm supposed to see them and be like, yes, I don't need to hide my chain from these Edomites because my brothers are here, man. That's how I'm supposed to see things, man. I'm supposed to see a black man, a Hispanic man, and be like, yo, no one's getting robbed today because my brothers are here. No one's getting stabbed today because my brothers are here. We're meant to see each other and feel secure, man. Whereas nowadays, most of us don't feel secure around each other. So really, when we're walking around with knives because we don't know if our brothers coming to harm us, man. He's got a knife thinking I'm coming for him, and I've got a knife thinking he's coming for me. And he's grilling me from the side of the road, and I'm looking at him from the side of the road. And we've got all these issues. Why? Because of our lack of brotherhood, man. Whereas if we just follow these scriptures, we wouldn't need no weapons, man. Because I'd understand he's not going to rob me because what? He knows that it's against the Lord to steal, man. And he's my brother. And he would know I'm not going to rob him because it's against the Lord to steal. And we would have that common understanding that nobody's robbing no one because we're brothers. Nobody's killing no one. Nobody's harming no one because we're brothers. We would have that understanding. But obviously, living under our oppressor, that whole understanding's gone out the window. That whole brotherhood concept's gone out the window. And then now it's everyone for himself. It's now, if you've got something I like, I'll stick you up and take it. And that's how it is now. It's a dog eat dog world. Like, you've got something I like, I'm going to stick you up and take it. No more, no more brotherhood, no more. Only in the I.S.U.P.K. But read on.
That's right. Okay. Khan, verse 30. Strive not with a man without cause.
What did the Bible say?
Strive not with a man without cause.
Hey, strive not with a man without cause, man. Meaning, why are you causing a problem for no reason, looking for a fight, man? Sometimes you see brothers out there and they're looking for a fight, man. Like you see someone looking at you, like sometimes when someone's looking at you, you can see in the corner of your eye, so you look. First thing they say is, what the F you looking at? Listen, man, why come out of your house looking for a fight, man? Just stay in your house if that's how you feel, man. Just drive not, man. For no cause, man. Imagine that. Imagine that. You've just come out of your house because you just want to go to the park today. You know, it's a nice day. You want to go to the park, and you go to the park, and someone's asking you what the F you looking at. For no reason, man. You don't know from where. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've experienced that. Yeah, I've experienced that quite a few times, so that's why I'm laughing. You know what I mean? It's like, man.
See, and that's it goes, man. We want to fight each other for no reason. Like, imagine we're mad at our life, and then we take it out on another brother who's also mad at his life, man. Imagine we're both oppressed. Like, my anger should make me see my brother and say, yo, you know what? I'm oppressed just like you, man. I'm oppressed just like you, and I know what you're going through. That's how we should deal with one another. But now it's what you're looking at. You want me to shank you up? That's what they say. You want me to shank you up, and he's grabbing his waist like he's gonna pull his knife out on you, man. All because all you did was looked at him, man. That's it. Just took a glimpse. That's it. And that's how we live nowadays. You can't. It's like you can't even look no more because people come out their house to strive for no reason, man. And then what happens? One man ends up dead. One man ends up in jail, man. It's not worth it, man.
That's
see, like usually, we us black men should have this thing in common where we see each other, we nod our head at each other, man. Even if we don't say no words, we just nod our head at each other, let you know, like, you're a black man like me, everything good, and just keep it moving, man. Like, that's how, like, we should greet each other respectfully. Like the energy it takes to be mad at a brother, you should greet a brother like, Shalom, everything's good, you know, just, you know, or just do the head nod. Like, a brother looks at you, you nod your head, man. That's it. He might think he knows you from somewhere, but obviously, what happens is we be all aggressive, they be all aggressive. Well, not us in here, but I'm just on about when I say us, I'm on about us as a nation. Brother be like, what the F you looking at? The other brother's gonna stop and be like, yo, what you looking at? Then they're walking towards each other. Then two men that just left out to go to the shop to buy a pint of milk. Both went to buy a pint of milk. Now they're stabbing each other in the street over something so little and so minor. And this is why even little things that you do, like your approach kind of plays a part in certain things as well. Because most things go wrong from the approach. Like there's a way, like sometimes you'll see brothers and the way they speak is like a brother will say to you, yo, you good. And when they say it like that, they ain't asking if you're good, they're asking, yo, do you want a problem? So there's a way they're saying it. Like there's a way to say certain things. So usually if a brother's looking at you all angrily, you can say to him shalom, and he's never heard that in his life. So he's like, oh, well, you're on a different level to what I'm on.
Right.
He's like, yo, you're on a different level to what I'm on. So if he looks at you and he's like, yo, you good? He'll be, hey, shalom, how you doing? He's gonna be like, oh, straight away, that's gonna diffuse the problem. Or if he's like, you good, and if you be like, yo, I'm good, are you good? It turns into standoffish, and then you're both eyeballing each other. Whereas you can get rid of the problem by saying, hey, shalom, how you doing? And he's thinking, huh, shalom. And then in his mind, he's gonna be thinking, damn, I'm starting a war with a brother that said shalom to me, and no one's never said shalom to me in my life. That's right. No one's never greeted me so respectfully in my life. And then before you know it, you've diffused the problem. Whereas if you address it, go about it the wrong way, it starts a problem. Like the Bible says, what in Proverbs, I think it's 13, it says a soft answer turneth away wrath. Meaning, you word things correctly, you can diffuse a ton of problems, you can diffuse a ton of arguments and so forth. But go ahead to Zapon.
Khan, strive not with a man without cause, if he have done thee no harm.
If you have what?
If he have done thee no harm.
Don't fight with a man if he's done you no harm now, man. Now, if a man comes and puts his hands on you in the street, listen, you better strive with him, man. You better fight back, man. If a man puts his hands on you in the streets, you better fight back and defend yourself. But don't fight someone that's done you no harm. Now, if everybody followed this approach, we would never ever fight. You know why? Because no one would do nobody no harm. Nobody would throw the first punch, man. No one would throw the first punch. Why? Because there'd be nothing for us to strive over. We both have an understanding that don't fight with no one that ain't caused you no harm. And a man looking at you in the street ain't caused you no harm, man. Any more on that? Go ahead to that one.
If I may, it says, "Envy thou not the oppressor." But if within that, it's like the roles, we've switched roles with the oppressor. It's like he's turned us into him in his envy and in his evil and in his wickedness. You understand, towards his brother. That's how they used to live in the caves. And then we're now he's living like us now, you know, in a way, with his brethren, looking out for them, and then we're living like how he was living in the cave. We're clubbing each other over the head, you know what I'm saying, with the bone.
Right. we live in all lawless now. Like we meant to have the best brotherhood on the face of the earth, but we ain't got that, and we envy the oppressor, and we want to be like him. We want to do what? Sell drugs like him, be the mafia like him, be homosexuals like him. Do everything that he does. Now, as a nation, we want to do everything that he does because we envy him. We look at it like, damn, look at him having all this. Understand this? You can't do what the oppressor does, man. Why? Because you have a father that will punish you, man. We have a God that will punish us in us trying to live how the oppressor lives. So we can't live how they live. One sec, give me Deuteronomy 23 and verse 19.
Deuteronomy chapter 23 verse 19. Thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother.
Go ahead.
Usury of money, usury of victuals, usury of anything that is lent upon usury.
So you can't put interest on anything, man. Anything you give to a brother, you can't put an extra charge on it. You can't overcharge them, put extra charges on it. Go ahead. Like how businesses do. What happens is businesses put extra charges on everything. Now, with a business, what they do is if you pay, like with car insurance, if you pay down on car insurance, you have to end up paying more at the end of the year. How much does it work to like extra £300-400? So if you do it in monthly installments, you're paying an extra £400 at the end of the year. You can't do that with a brother. That's what businesses do. The reason you can't do that to your brother is why? Because with you and your brother, it's not business. That's your brother. But the reason you can do it to a stranger is why? Because it's business, man. Read on. The same way they do it to us as business, we can do it to them as business, but you can't do it to your brother.
Verse 20. Unto a stranger thou mayest lend upon usury.
Read that again.
Unto a stranger thou mayest lend upon usury. But
listen, to a stranger, you can lend upon usury, meaning you can say to a heathen, I'm gonna give you £100, but I want 200 back. You can say that, and the heathen can say to you, that's not fair, man. You didn't do that to Tyrone. Well, Tyrone's your brother. Well, Tyrone's my brother, man. Tyrone's my brother, man. I give favor to my brothers, man. I'm not gonna charge my brother full whack, man, because he's my brother. But to a stranger, you can overcharge him, man, for a basic job. If he's willing to pay, you can overcharge him, man. But your brother, you can't do that. Go ahead.
And Salakia, they do that anyway. You know what I mean? So
and they do that to us with everything, man.
Right.
I was gonna say something to Zapa.
Salakia, yeah, everything. No, just saying everything.
They do that to us, man. And guess what? We used to it, man. We used to being overcharged. Guess what? We used to being overcharged on rent, man. Yeah. We got East Indians ain't charging other East Indians, man. They're getting it for cheap. We used to being overcharged in shops. We used to being overcharged with everything, man. We used to it, and we're so used to it that it's the norm. Like imagine, like me and Captain Parasha know that if we go to buy a car off an East Indian man and the East Indian man's there, we know the East Indian man's going to say to him in his language, sell it to me for cheap. We understand that. We just know. Whereas these other nations need to understand that we're going to do the same thing too, man. These East Indians need to understand that. To Zarpon, that I'm going to say to you in Hebrew, we're overcharging him.
Right.
They need to understand that we're going to say in Hebrew, we're overcharging him. And that's why it's so good to have your own language, man. Imagine we speak about us in their own language and we don't understand the word of it, man. The only words we understand is kala, means black. That's the only thing we understand. Meanwhile, they be laughing you to scorn and talking about you in their language. And with us, we can't talk about them in our language. Why? Because we speak English, man, which ain't our language. Everybody understands what we're saying, but they've got a common knowledge where they can say, skank him, do this. Like even if it's just two of them in a room and only you, they can speak in their language to one another, and you ain't got a clue what they're talking about. Now, me and you wanted to speak about them. We can't. Why? Because we understand what we're speaking, man. And that's why having you so beautiful. And it's funny. I remember there was a brother I used to slave with ages ago. When the East Indians used to talk in their language, he used to get mad. He used to get angry, man. He was like, yo, talk English. This is an English country, talk English. He's like, yo, you think I'm letting you talk about me in your language? Talk English. And then one time I just said to him, yo, just leave them to say whatever they want. I said, you know what? Just leave them to say whatever they want about you. Who cares? And he took it personal that he couldn't understand the language that they were speaking. Because they would talk about him. They would talk about him saying how he's lazy and they don't like him and this and that. And they'll talk about him in their language. And when they're talking about him, they're laughing to each other. And imagine you're the joke. Imagine you're the joke, but you don't understand what the joke is.
Right.
This is why in our kingdom we're gonna have jokes in our language, man.
That's
we're gonna have jokes in our language, and no one's gonna understand what we're talking about. Go ahead.
So that's the other one. Yeah, I experienced that with two Ghanaians. I was working with one and went on the job to work for his friend and all that stuff. So I experienced that in the midst of it. They can both speak English and I speak English, but I know that they're chatting me. You know the thing. But I wanted to say this in the scripture. Slacky, I wanted to say on the script, just bypass from that now. I wanted to say on the scripture, it says the things that are uttered in Hebrew and spoken in another tongue has not the same force in them, man. So yeah, 100 on that. You know what I mean? Definitely need that own language. You know what I'm saying?
Need it, man. And that's why we do the praise in the Hebrew, man. Because what's uttered in Hebrew has way more force than the English, man. We do them praise in the Hebrew. People scared for their life, man, thinking, damn, what are they shouting?
Right.
Damn, they're like, damn, what are they shouting? And it's so beautiful that we've got Hebrew, man. I remember one time the generals came in the lobby in the hotel, man, and we done the Alawat Panya. Every Edomite was looking at us like, what's this? Looking at us like, what's this? And that was so beautiful that they couldn't understand what it was, man. It was so beautiful that they would never understand what it was, man. There any more? And is that about it?
Snappy, where was I now? I lost it anyway. I found it from there. What was it? Deuteronomy what? 23 verse 20. Wasn't it? Yeah, 20.
Go ahead. Actually, is there any more in that, or is that it?
I think there was more on it.
Go ahead.
Verse 20. Unto a stranger thou mayest lend upon usury, but unto thy brother thou shalt not lend upon usury, that the Lord thy God may bless thee in all that thou settest thine hand to in the land, whether thou goest to possess it.
And how can people hate the laws of God, man?
Right.
The Lord's making sure you don't get scammed, man.
That's right.
The Lord's making sure that you don't get robbed. How can you hate the laws of God when the Lord put laws in here that favors you, man? That I can't overcharge you, that you can't overcharge me because we're brothers. That's brotherhood. How can you hate these laws, man? When these laws is teaching us to deal with each other correctly. How can you hate the laws of God, man? It don't make no sense. Give me
that's like, and that's that self-hatred, man. You know what I mean? The self-hatred is running deep in our people's minds, man.
Exactly.
And as the General Yohanna put it, that the Christianity, man, that's what it is. That Christianity is running deep. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Give me Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 26.
God. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 26. Be not thou one of them that strike hands.
And be one of them. Striking hands today is like what shaking hands to make a deal. Like, you know, it shakes hands to make a deal. That's what it is. Go ahead.
Or of them that are sureties for debts.
And you don't want to be a surety for someone's debt. What did you call it to the guarantor? A guarantor. You don't want to be a guarantor for someone who you know clearly they're not going to do what they say they're going to do. Right. Like even they can come to you crying, saying, "Oh, please, I'll do this and I'll pay it on time. You just do this for me." You know they're not going to pay it, man. Don't shake on no deal. Don't sign no papers. Don't be no guarantor for no one, man. Someone that's dishonest, someone that you know ain't going to pay back, someone that you know ain't going to pay on time, and then guess what happens? You end up with the problem. Like you don't want to be a guarantor like this. You take out a higher purchase car for someone. This is what someone will say to you. I've got bad credit, so can you take it out in your name?
Yeah.
And then you do that, and then guess what? They're driving around in the car, and you have to end up paying the bill. Right. You can't say to this company, "Oh, but wallet is they had bad credit, so I took it out for them." The reason they've got bad credit is because they've done stuff like this before, man. If they can't take it out themselves, you don't be a guarantor or a surety for them, because you're gonna end up falling out with them. Even something as a contract phone. People have you take out a contract phone in your name for them, run up the bill, and then guess who's left with the bill? You're left with the bill. And it's your fault. Why? Because you wanted to be a surety or a guarantor for them, man. You can't be a guarantor for everybody. I understand you want to help everybody, but you can't help everybody. You can't be a guarantor for everybody. Read on.
Verse 27. If thou hast nothing to pay, why should he take away thy bed from under thee?
And listen, man, stop trying to make deals and putting yourself in debt if you know you ain't gonna pay back, man. Why are you gonna let someone take your bed from under thee? Whereas now people come to your house and take whatever they like. You know you can't afford all the stuff you're getting, so why are you getting it for, man? Why are you running up debts? Why are you running up bills? Why are you running up all them things, man? Why? If you know you can't afford to pay it back. Like the Bible has wisdom in there, man. All of these things is wisdom. The Lord saying, don't do these things. Why? Because it's going to come and affect you in the end. In the end, you're going to be the one affected by it. You're running up all these debts, all these bills. And then guess what? In the end, when the debt collector comes around and takes all your stuff, you end up with nothing, man. Why put yourself in that position knowing how it's going to end up? And why would you put somebody else in that position? Why would you make someone be a guarantor for you, you know you ain't going to pay them back, man? Knowing you can't afford what they're taking out for you. Have some class and some brotherhood. And not everything you need to have. If you can't afford it, you can't have it. And don't be a guarantor for someone who you know ain't going to pay it back. And with that, that's the class. So that's the end of the class. We're going to part 2 next week. We're just to the end of the class. We're going to do the security announcements and whatnot.
All right, that was a powerful class. People have to set. Don't go by their hands. I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K. Started out on 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. Rule for a new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get a permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will call each other. After this 6 months, a period, the brother and sister will get a permission from the heads to marry tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10 means 10 in the Hebrew Ma'ashra. 10% of every a penny of any increase you receive from the Lord gives to the Treasury Department. Priest fund not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocations is Purim in February.
25th and 26th.
But yeah, it is on the 25th and the 26th of February. All occupant aqua, check the bulletin board in the hallway and to check all I.S.U.P.K social media. If anyone wants to become a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black boots, shirts, pants, headbands, and scarves, and that, then you teach you one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, I Madim Shabbat. I Madim Barak. Yahweh Ba Shem Yahweh Shai Barak Atah.
Yahaba Shabra Kafam.
Yadim Atah. Class dismissed.